The different forms of trauma. Presented by the Ward and Wellness Services. In association with CJ Ward Creations. Effects. Despite the high prevalence of childhood IPV exposure, it is crucial to remember that children are naturally resilient and may recover from traumatic circumstances. In the wake of IPV, having people who care about them provide direction, attention, and support is one method for children to heal. While the number of children exposed to IPV continues to be startling, as the issue of childhood IPV exposure becomes more prominent, resources are becoming available to those in need. Not all children who are exposed to IPV are affected in the same way or to the same extent. Exposure to IPV may be stressful for many children, and their reactions are similar to those of children exposed to other traumatic stresses. Immediate effects and long-term consequences. Children's early reactions to IPV may include generalized anxiety, sleeplessness, nightmares, difficulty concentrating, high activity levels, increased aggression, increased fear over being away from a parent. Long-term effects of IPV exposure, particularly chronic exposure, may include issues with physical health, adolescent behavior problems, example, delinquency, alcohol or substance abuse, adult-onset emotional problems, example, depression, anxiety, PTSD. In addition, IPV exposure has been associated to decreased academic performance. Children with IPV may have trouble concentrating, finishing schoolwork, and scoring lower on assessments of linguistic, physical, and social skills as they grow older. Children who have been exposed to IPV often learn detrimental lessons about the use of violence and power in relationships, in addition to these physical, behavioral, psychological, and cognitive impacts. Children may learn that using violence to assert control or relieve stress is appropriate, or that violence is linked to intimate and affectionate expressions in some way. These lessons can have a significant negative impact on children's social interactions and relationships throughout their youth and into adulthood. Children's reactions to IPV, like other types of trauma, differ depending on their age and developmental stage. Furthermore, children's reactions are influenced by the magnitude of the violence, their proximity to the violent occurrences, and their caregivers' reactions. Age group reactions. A basic list of probable reactions or symptoms by age group can include birth to 5, sleep and/or food disturbances, withdrawal/lack of responsiveness, intense separation anxiety, inconsolable sobbing, developmental regression, loss of acquired skills, intense anxiety, anxieties, and/or new fears. Ages 6 to 11, nightmares and sleep disturbances in school. Aggression and difficulties with peer interactions in school. Difficulty concentrating and completing tasks in school. Withdrawal and/or emotional numbing in school. School avoidance and/or truancy in school. Ages 12 to 18, school failure. Antisocial behavior. Impulsive and/or dangerous behavior, such as school absenteeism, substance addiction, running away. Participation in violent or abusive dating relationships, depression, anxieties. Withdrawal. It's crucial to keep in mind that these symptoms can be linked to other stressors, traumas, or developmental issues, and that they should be evaluated in the context of the child's and family's overall functioning. Interventions. Families who have experienced intimate partner violence have access to a number of counseling and mental health programs, IPV. Typically, families require more than counseling, they require case management and advocacy to assist the victim of violence in navigating the legal system and securing the resources and support she or he and the children require. Mental health therapy must be delivered alongside extensive care for the children and their non-offending parent. Groups. Individual therapy and dyadic treatment with their non-offending parent are all options for children. The focus of supporting and developing the relationship between the non-offending parent and the kid is an essential component of intervention with all children. A good relationship with a parent is crucial for most children in helping them recuperate from the impacts of IPV. Intimate partner violence, IPV, often known as domestic violence, occurs when a person intentionally harms or threatens to harm a current or former partner or spouse. While abuse usually takes the form of a pattern of controlling and coercive behavior, a single incidence of abuse might be concerning. IPV tactics against a partner might be physical, sexual, financial, verbal, or emotional in nature. Stalking, intimidating, blaming, hurt, humiliation, manipulation, and intentional isolation from social supports and family may also occur. The incidence and severity of IPV might vary. Children are frequently the silent or hidden victims of IPV, with some being actively injured and others being terrified observers. Children are frequently the silent or hidden victims of IPV, with some being actively injured and others being terrified observers. Emotional abuse, neglect, physical abuse, and community violence are more common in children who have been exposed to IPV. IPV is increasingly recognized as a significant legal and public health issue. Not only a private family problem, as the magnitude of the problem has become clear. Abuse can affect families and communities throughout generations, as well as individuals of all ages, from dating teenagers to elderly couples. Every state has legislation addressing IPV. Abuse occurs in many sorts of relationships and among people of all ages, races, religions, socioeconomic statuses, sexual orientations, gender identities, and educational backgrounds. Although women are the majority of IPV victims, it is vital to recognize that men can also be victims. IPV disproportionately impacts LGBTQ people, who face difficulties to getting help from community organizations like shelters or the police.